Nice. So, guys, it's a pleasure to have all of you. I know you've all waited anxiously for this Saturday's workshop session. And by the way, my name is Eric Nidza. I'm a cloud and DevOps engineer at Solavis Tech. I'm a trainer, and I'm also the CIO. So everything concerning information, I make sure I'm responsible. And it's a pleasure to have all of you here. We'll be waiting for Prof. Emmanuel to join us, probably in a few minutes. But while we're waiting, like you must have seen in the flyer, today we are going to do an enterprise Jira data software deployment, right? I know on the call, we already have a lot of us that have introduced ourselves, people joining from Yaoundé, Cameroon, people joining from the US, people joining from Ghana, I mean, all over the globe, all over the globe. That's just to tell you that there's no limit to which we can learn, right? The only limit that you have to learn and grow, and develop, your only limit is your mind, is your mindset, right? And that's why we're here. We're all here to, level up our skills, to grow our portfolio, to get ourselves recognized outside there as people in the field who have authority, who know what they're doing, and people who are able to solve problems, right? And again, these are regular Saturday workshops that we have. We're going to be having this every month, or at least once in a month. So you can always check in on me or ask any of the participants here whenever a workshop is coming up so that you can freely join. Right, so we are going to having this regularly so that you can all come in and learn and share from each other, right? So it's a pleasure to have all of you. And I don't know, before we start, while we're waiting for Prof. Emmanuel to join, I don't know if anybody has anything to ask, anything to say, I mean, or just a comment, guys. We're just going to make this like, it's not going to be like a class session, right? Where we're like in a class, kind of a serious, strict mode. No, we're just going to make this relaxing kind of work environment so that you have a sense of what happens in a typical work environment setup. So feel free to ask any question, feel free to say anything, any doubt, feel free to share, right? We are all here to learn. At the end of the day, we are all learning. So guys, if anyone has anything, just unmute yourself and pick up the mic while we wait for Prof. Emmanuel to join us.
Okay. The question I have is based on the message that was sent to the group about the session. So I was wondering the part where they mentioned Docker orchestration, does that have to
Yeah.
do with Kubernetes or Docker Swarm?
No, it's just purely Docker, just Docker.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, sure. You're welcome. Okay. So it's just going to be basic. You don't need so much Docker knowledge. It's not going to be an in-depth or deep dive kind of advanced orchestration with Docker, right? It's just something basic so that you have an idea of what happens in the work environment.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. We just go. Yeah.
Okay, for the resources that will be used during the session, will we be granted access to the repository?
No, what you're going to have at the end of the session, you're going to have access to the documentation, like the runbook.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So you're going to have a runbook to share to you, and then you can then transform that runbook into a repository. Right?
Okay.
The runbook,
Yes.
in the runbook, you're going to have, though we don't have the architecture there yet, and it's something that you're supposed to have. So as part of your own initiative, as part of you trying to do something different, right? From what we're
Yes.
going to explain, you can then design the architecture of the entire setup.
Okay, no problem.
Yes. It's going to be like your own work. And in doing that, you're going to learn how to design. You're going to learn a lot. right? We intentionally left that out so that you should also do some work from your end, and which is part of the learning process, right?
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So in the document, in the runbook, you're going to have the entire steps, everything, and then
Yes.
you have the files are going to be there, right? They're going to be using, so you know where to
Okay.
put that in your GitHub repository, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. But for anyone who doesn't know how to do that, Git and GitHub is an entire course and lesson that we offer at Solavis Tech, right? And it runs for days. Learning GitHub is not a one-day thing, right? It takes you a day to learn and master it. So if you want to dive deep into Git and GitHub, is one of the topics that we go deep dive into at Solavis Tech. Deep dive, so that you know every aspect of Git and GitHub. Yeah, I think Derek is here. They're going to be doing that along the way. They just started their lessons, I think 2 weeks ago. So it's one of the things they're going to do deep dive. So you will need to also set up your AWS account. You can just log in.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me check. Prof. Emmanuel.
AWS.
So guys, feel free if you want to ask anything, you have a doubt, or you want to add something. Also, we are also going to need your make sure you have your terminal, right? You can have your Git bash, your command line. Just have it ready. You need an AWS account, you need Git bash, right? And then every other thing, we're going to install it. You're going to follow along the way. Okay, I just saw some other people joining us. We have Etim, how you doing?
Hi, Eric. I'm good.
Awesome.
I don't know. Could you give me a quick recap? I just joined about a minute ago, so I could be on the same page. Thanks.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the question. So what I was saying is the requirements, the prerequisite for this our session, right? Because it's going to be a session that you understand what happens in the work environment, right? We've made it to be enterprise level. It's not just going to be, let's say, a testing ground, right? It's going to be enterprise level, but not everything. Not everything, because there are certain configurations we are going to just let you tell you that this is what happens in the work environment, but we're not going to set it in our own environment, right? So it's going to be like enterprise level. So we're going to have Jira data center deployed on AWS, right? And it's not only going to be deployed, we're going to ensure security, right? We are going to automate stuff, right? We're going to package our application so that it's lighter, And then I was saying that as a requirement, you will need your AWS account set up. You will need your you will need to have your terminal. You can have your Git bash. You have Git bash, you can set it on. You can put it on. Your VS Code is still fine, right? I think basically that every other thing you're going to be installing along the way. So with that,
All right,
we're on the
thank
same
you.
level. Welcome, meeting. Sure. Okay, so I'm just getting a message from Prof. Emmanuel now. He just sent a message. He suddenly has an emergency. Okay. Okay, so Prof. Emmanuel just sent a message now that he has an emergency, right? And that he will not be able to join. Oh, this is not good. Let me see. Okay. This guy's a second. Let me a second. Okay, guys. So Prof. Emmanuel will not be able to join us. He will not be able to join us for the session. It's rather unfortunate. But this is what we're going to do. In this case, this is what we're going to do, right? So what's going to happen is that the session as it is, we are going to deploying Jira data center on AWS, right? And we're not only going to be deploying it, we are going to ensure that the deployment is going to happen we are going to have it like in a real world environment, right? It's going to be like in a real world environment. But because Prof. Emmanuel is not here, we wanted to do in such a way that in an environment you're going to be working with a team, right? Within your work environment, you're going to be working with a team. And so if you have an application, right, that is being hosted on AWS, so what happens is that companies, they don't allow everyone to have direct access to that application, right? They don't want the entire team to have access to that application. So normally you're going to have like the system admin or the DevOps engineer, right? Who is going to create what we call the bastion host. He's going to create what we call the bastion host. And then from this bastion host, he's going to create the users. That means the rest of the team, the rest of his colleagues. He's going to create them as users who can then have access to the application that are behind the bastion host. Just so you understand what I'm explaining, we're going to, let me sketch this. Oh, it would have really been nice that he's here so that you understand exactly what happens within the team. Because I can't do it alone, right? I can't do it alone. What would have happened is that he will be like the system admin or the main DevOps engineer, and then he creates, he launches the bastion host and creates me and add me to that bastion host as a user or as his colleague, right? And then through that bastion host, I'm going to have access to the backend applications in a secured manner. I'm not going to have direct access. I'm going to have access to the application through the bastion host. right? It's like you have a house, you don't want people to come directly maybe through the, let's say, through the window, right? They have to pass through the main gate and then they pass through the door. Is that kind of a setup? So let me just try to make a sketch here so that we all understand. Just a second. Let me see where I can draw. Let me stop sharing and then I can be able to draw. Okay. Okay, so this is what I was explaining, right? Remember that the application we're deploying is going to be like in the private instance, right? The application is going to be in the private instance, like in the backend. So part of the team, they are not going to have direct access to that application for security reasons, because someone might get it and then they try to create resources or maybe do things they're not supposed to do within that application, right? So we are going to have the Bastion host, something here is going to be the Bastion host. That's why when you look at the flyer, we said Bastion secured, right? We have the Bastion host here. Let me just make it BH, the Bastion host, right? And this Bastion host, the admin or the Linux administrator or the system administrator or the DevOps engineer, like the main guy, right, is going to create users in this Bastion host. Is going to create users here, right? That means in this case now, we will have been having Prof. Emmanuel here. Let me just say P. Emmanuel. Guys, I'm not a good, I don't have a good handwriting, all right? Let me just put Prof. Emma. And then the user here is going to be myself. It's going to be myself, right? And then the system is in such a way that we have backend applications, right, that are here running on the instances. We have app 1. Let's make it app 1. And then we make this app 2. App 2. Right. Now, these are running in the backend. Myself as a user, I don't have direct access to these applications. I can't have direct access to these applications. Let me do this now. Undo it. I cannot just have direct access. Okay, anyway, let me do it this way. Right? I don't have direct access to these applications. If I am to have access to the application, I must be created as a user in this Bastion host here. I must be created as a user in this Bastion host. And then when I'm here as a user, I'll be given credentials. That's what Prof. Emmanuel will have done. He will have created me as a user and then give me credentials so that I can then use, to log into these backend applications. That's what will have happened. Do this. So when he gives me the credentials, I can then have access to these applications here. Right? And then when I have access to these applications, that means the application we are talking in this case, which application are we talking about? We are talking about Jira, right? Jira would have been deployed in this backend application. We'll have Jira here. We'll have Jira here. And then we'll have Jira here. We can have so many instances or so many applications, right? This is Jira. Please permit my handwriting. It's very bad, right? So now I can then have access to this application where I can do anything. And then that is not all. Now, when you have, your users that are accessing the application, this one now is not, we have like, the common users that are accessing the applications, right? They will need a load balancer. Let's say maybe to control the traffic, right? To evenly distribute traffic to these applications. We will need a load balancer. It's one of the things that's supposed to be set up, the LB. Basically that. So much so that if the traffic maybe is going too high or is so high to application 1, the load balancer is going to evenly distribute it so that part of it goes to application 2, right? That way it will be easier to handle the traffic. So again, let me just take it over again, right? So in this setup, this is an enterprise setup that is meant to deploy Jira, right, on AWS. And it's not only deploying Jira, I want to deploy Jira in a secured manner, right, for security reasons. So again, in every work environment, what happens is that you don't have users accessing these applications directly, right? Normally, the users would have just SSH into these applications and then they can do whatever. But that is not safe. It's not safe. So what happens in a work environment is that you would have like the main DevOps engineer, right? In this case, it will have been Prof. Emmanuel, who is unfortunately he's not because of the emergency. And then, or we could have system admin, right? Who is going to create a bastion host. He's going to create the bastion host. The bastion host here is just like a jump server, right? It's also what we call a jump server. Jump in the sense that the users are going to use it to jump into the main servers to access the applications, the backend applications, for security reasons. So when this bastion host is created, the system admin or the DevOps engineer is going to create users, right? As we are on the call here, we are 13 of us. Emmanuel will have created this bastion host and then add all of us, to this user, to this bastion host, right? But again, because this is for a work-up session, it's a work-up session, it will have taken so much time for him to add all of us on the call, right? But we are structured in such a way that I will be the user and then he adds me. And so I'll be able to access the backend applications. And I'm not only going to access it, I'm going to, access in a secured manner. How? Because I'll be given credentials. He's going to give me credentials. He's going to give me credentials. So through these credentials, I'll access the application. Anyone without the credentials won't have access to the application. So that's just an overview of what we were supposed to do of the entire setup and then the entire deployment. Guys, I don't know if there's any question at this level, or if somebody wants to ask something, or if you have a comment.
Okay. From your explanation, I was wondering the apps. I'm sure the apps are going to run in Docker containers, but for the Bastion host, I don't know if it can be containerized as well, or it's supposed to run on a server directly.
No, it's going to run on the server directly. So what's going to happen is that this Bastion host here is
Yes.
also there just for the configuration, right?
Okay.
It's in this Bastion host that we're going to have our Ansible, right?
Yes.
It's in this Bastion host that is going to enable us have access to these backend servers.
Okay.
Right? Yes.
Yes.
And also, the Bastion host is also going to enable us to how can I put it? We're going to, every configuration that we're going to do, like the Docker Compose files that we're going to have to package the application, is all going to happen here.
Yes.
Right? The
Okay.
playbooks, everything is going to be here. The Ansible playbooks.
Yes.
Yes, everything is going to be here. But then we will also, that's on another level, right? That's on another level when we are not deploying the application. But in order to ensure the security of the users, right?
Yes.
That's why we're setting on the Bastion host. But now, in order that this server here has access to the backend servers to do the deployment, right? We are going to create
Yes.
keys. Yeah, we are going to create keys, like SSH keys.
Okay.
Yeah, so that it can enable us to have access to these backend servers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and when we deploy the applications, can
Yes.
we attach databases to the applications
Absolutely.
in our own practice? In our own practice.
Absolutely, you can attach that.
Okay.
You can do that,
Okay.
definitely. Yes. It's just that time wouldn't have permitted us to add that component. It would have made it very lengthy. It's something you can absolutely do. Yes, that's very possible. So you can then attach the database now in a private instance. And when you're doing that, make sure that that database doesn't have access to internet, like it's not connected to a public IP. It doesn't have a public IP address.
Yes.
For security reasons, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I can just put it, let's say if I deploy this in a VPC, I can then put the database in one of the private subnets.
Exactly, one of the private subnets.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Guys, any question? Sometimes it's difficult to just be talking, right? If a question comes, then we can then explain more and then talk more, and you will learn, you at least learn something. There's a lot to say, right? But I don't know which one I would say, depending on our levels or what somebody's not understanding, right? So if you have any question, guys, feel free to ask any question. There's never a wrong question. The wrong question is the one that you don't ask. In case anyone is speaking, you can unmute, guys.
Hello, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, Lucky, good evening.
Yeah. I understand the right-hand side where you have the apps on different private subnets. But that left-hand side, the explanation you gave, I did not really get it.
Okay. All right. So
thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. So let me just take you back to your console, right? Let me take you back to your AWS console, okay? On your AWS, you can unmute, right? You can unmute yourself so that we should, let me know that you're getting what I'm saying. So on your AWS console, you know the launch instances, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So what is going to happen in this scenario is that we are going to launch 3 instances, right? We're going to have 3 instances. And one of the instances, the first instance is going to be the Bastion host. We call it the jump server, right? And then the other two instances, they are going to be for the application. They're going to host the application, right? In this case, it's Jira that we're deploying. Okay.
Okay.
So when you're working in a team, you want to make sure that people don't have direct access to the systems or to certain resources. For example, the backend applications. You don't want your team to have direct access to those backend applications, right? Or also because you want to prevent hackers from accessing that application, right? So you want to make such way that only people who are given the right or only people who are added to the system have access to those backend applications. So what do? This is where you create this Bastion host. So the Bastion host is just going to be another instance that you launch, right? And on this instance, you're going to add your users. You're going to add your teams, your colleagues, so that they can have access to these backend applications and perform whatever tasks they've been asked to perform. Right? So the Bastion host here is just for security reasons. Yes, to ensure that your users have controlled access, right, or secured access to the backend applications. This Bastion host here is just to ensure that your users have secured access to the backend applications. If not, there wouldn't be any need.
Okay.
If not, you just say, hey, Lucky, please, can you log in into application 1? Can you log in into application 2? But what if somebody has the SSH? What if a hacker comes in, right, and also can do the same thing? That means access to the applications or the backend applications is not controlled. Because when you create this Bastion host, you are going to set up the credentials, right? I'm going to set up the credentials I give to you. So without those credentials, you can't access these applications. I'm going to create you as a user here as Lucky. Lucky is going to be one of the users, right? I'm going to add you here. And when I add you here, I'm going to create a credential and give to you. Just a password. What I mean is just a password, right? I'm going to create your name as Lucky, and then I'll give you the password. And I'll give you, and then say, hey, use this credentials to access these applications, these backend applications. Right? Is it clear now?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, great.
I have a question.
Yes, Teddy.
Yes, so for some of us who are still beginners in this, I don't know, are there some apps we need to download, or all of this could be getting from the AWS console?
Okay, so since you've already enrolled with us, for the apps, the AWS, you already have AWS set up, right? We did that in our orientation, right?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. So on that one, you're good. So for the Git bash, if you watch the installation videos, I think they're on the LMS. Are you able to access the LMS?
No.
Okay. After this, I will get you access to the LMS, right? So that you watch the videos and then you see how to install Git bash.
All right. Okay.
Yes. So Git bash is just a terminal that's going to enable you to run those commands.
Is it something like a command line interface like Linux?
Yes. You're going to run the Linux commands on Git bash.
Okay, because I think I have a Linux, I have a virtual machine with Oracle.
Okay.
I don't know if that can go.
On Oracle, we're going to
Yes.
be with AWS. I don't know how it's going to work, But Git bash is very easy. I don't know how it works on Oracle. I don't have any idea on Oracle.
Okay, while waiting, is it possible I maybe start the installation?
Sure.
Oh,
Let me send.
okay.
Yes, but
Yes, since he's running in a virtual machine, I don't know which distribution of Linux he has there, but he should just
you're right.
open yes, when he goes into the virtual machine, he should just search terminal and then he can access it there. All of the It's just like a general Linux terminal. So all of the Git commands are supported on things like Ubuntu. And if it's Red Hat Enterprise CentOS and so on, you just have to run the command to install Git. So in Red Hat, for example, sudo yum install Git, and then you should have it. So you can use like Git bash.
Okay, yeah, because I'm using CentOS version 9.
Okay, CentOS.
Yes,
I'm not
CentOS version
sure
9.
what the repository is, but which repository does CentOS use again?
I don't know.
That's something to check.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So
Yes, Derek.
does the load balancer distribute the traffic from the instances to app one and app two, or the traffic is being distributed from app one to app two? Or I don't really understand what the load balancer does there.
Okay, thank you for that question. Let me reduce this. See. Let me erase this a second. Okay. Okay, let's have this, right? So when you have your application, right, forget about the bastion host and every other thing that we talked about. Okay. I know you just started your sessions with us, your classes with us. So you're going to go deep dive into it and understand this better. But for your question, let me answer you. So when you have your application and it's running, right? So what happens is that let's say, yeah, this is app one, this is app two. Let's say it's, for example, let's say you just say WhatsApp, for example, right? You have people that are logging into your application. You have users, right?
Yes.
So what happens is that imagine that this, let me, why this, right? Imagine that you have this application and people are, logging in, right? People are logging in, a lot of people are logging in. You have traffic that is coming in, like traffic from everywhere, from all over, to this application, a lot of traffic, right? So what's going to happen is that at some point, right? At some point, depending on the configurations of this application, and this application is hosted in an instance, in an EC2 instance. You guys, you started instances, right?
Yes.
In EC compute, yes. So within an instance, you're going to have an application hosted like this. So, and if people are asking that application, let's say it's an e-commerce platform, because people want to buy, like maybe during the Christmas period, people are accessing, right? There's going to be traffic there. And when there's traffic on that application, you know what may happen, right? You know what can happen? Can you imagine? Just
Crash.
perfect. It can get shut down. So that is where load balancer comes in. So load balancer comes in such a way that what you're going to do as a DevOps engineer, you are not going to host a single application in an instance. What you're going to do is that you're going to have the same application in another instance, right? Let's say EC2 2, right? And this is going to be EC2, EC2.1. It's the same application that people are accessing. Right? It's the same application. It's still app 1, same application. So you don't want that this application to crash. So what you're going to do is that you're going to bring in what we call the load balancer now. Let me change the color. Let me see. I have colors. I hope this is going to work. Yeah. Okay. What is going to happen is that you're going to have a load balancer placed in between your application, right, and the users. This is your load balancer, your LB. So what this LB is going to be like, the LB here is just like the traffic controller, right? Like that guy you see on the street directing traffic. Even though if cars are crowding on this lane, he directs that some can go here. Maybe half of the cars should go this way, and then the rest of the half should go this other way, so that the route is not crowded. So the load balancer is now going to come, right? It comes, wipe this. It comes and then picks up the traffic from these users here, right? Picks up the traffic and then evenly distributes it. Make sure that 50% is going here and then 50% is going here. Do you see now?
Got it.
Yes. So in simple terms, that's what happens with the load balancer.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome, Derek. You're going to go deep into this during when you go further.
Okay.
Yeah. Guys, any other question? Oh, by the way, if you're just joining, the session is recorded. Like I explained earlier, Prof. Emmanuel could not join us because of an emergency, but because we wanted to set up, take something that is at enterprise level so that you understand what happens within a work environment, right? I can't do it alone. I will have done it alone, but you won't understand. You won't have that experience of what happens in a work environment, right? So if you're here, the session will be shared once we end the session. I will send it through your emails and you can go over it and learn a few things that we've discussed, we've shared, right? Whenever it's going to be possible, we'll come up to this. We have to redo this deployment, right? We have to redo it whenever it's possible. We have to redo it. Yeah. And if there's anything you haven't understood here, just know that we just recently launched our August session, like training for AWS and DevOps, like deep dive, advanced AWS and DevOps training, right? So that's some of these basic things that I'm talking about. If you get in, you're going to understand them very, very well, right? These sessions are just for you to have an overview of what happens and also to level up if you already have a certain, maybe if you've done the training to a certain level, right? You can also get something to document and add to your CV, add to your LinkedIn profile, and grow your career. So you can take the opportunity at whatever level you are, right? To either go deep dive, you can enroll with us. We just started. Sure, Edward, sure. Yes, we can communicate after this, yeah. So we just started, I think like 1 week or 2 weeks ago, right? They just started with the introductions of the sessions and all of that. So nothing has been done deeply, right? But as time goes, the students are going to go deep dive. Derek is here, and I think one of our past students also here, Aqua, very amazing. I'm always glad to see him. Even after completing the session with us, he's always joining these sessions, right? Aqua completed a session with us, I think a few months ago, and he is still attending the workshop sessions. So learning is a continuous thing. You have to constantly learn. Don't ever think that because you've completed your training, you're done, right? You still have to always find opportunity to learn, to refresh your mind, because you don't know the opportunity you're going to have tomorrow. And it's some of these experiences, real life experience, that you're going to find yourself into. So if you get opportunity, to go deep dive into any training or into any program to reset yourself. Take advantage of it. Yes, Edward, let me see. Let me drop my contact here. Okay, yes, you can connect on LinkedIn. You can connect on LinkedIn. Let me drop my LinkedIn. So guys, another thing that we also do is that we don't only connect on these sessions for the lessons or the workshops. We connect so that we can further connect, right? We connect here to connect. In essence, what I'm saying is that when you are on this session, try to share your LinkedIn profile on the chat so that people can connect with you on LinkedIn. You don't know who might give you an opportunity, right? You don't know. A lot of our colleagues, they actually join us through these sessions. We have Kevin. Kevin will have been here, but he's very busy. He's based in Kenya. He's our CTO. We also have Prof. Emmanuel. It's through these sessions that they all join. They will all join and they were part of SolarVistech. So if you have these opportunities, always share your contacts, share your LinkedIn profile to connect with someone, or just sometimes just unmute the mic and tell us what you're doing, like the challenge you're facing, or what level you are, so that we get to know each other better, right? Yeah. So Edward, let me just share my LinkedIn profile. So guys, you can drop your LinkedIn profiles on the chat so that we all connect. Okay, great, guys. Oh, nice, great, nice to have you, Edward. Awesome. Great. So you can also follow us on our LinkedIn page, on our SolarVistech LinkedIn page, where we share, so that in case the upcoming session, right, or once Emmanuel is ready to get back to us, as we reschedule it, you will get notified so that you don't miss it. Because this is a powerful project you need to document on your resume. You can't miss on this. So let me just share our platforms. So guys, you can connect with us on all social media platforms, on WhatsApp, Facebook, LinkedIn. Okay, all right, but okay, that's to Gaturu. All right, guys, let's connect with everyone here. You don't know who might get you an opportunity, right? Okay, Edward, when you join, can you join the WhatsApp platform? I just shared the link. Let me know when you join the WhatsApp platform. The link is just here. So when you join, I think that will be the fastest way for us to connect. I know we can still connect on LinkedIn, but the fastest way would be WhatsApp. Sure. So once you connect, so once you connect, you can just look for my name. My name is just there. Look for my name as one of the members, and then you just reach out. Just send me a DM. Okay. All right. Promise. Okay, great. Great. Okay. Recorder, sure. Okay. Okay, guys, Edward, just let me know if you can get my name on the WhatsApp platform. Let me know on the general WhatsApp, the one you just joined. Edward, can you hear me? Okay, let me know if you can. Have you joined the WhatsApp platform?
I just joined.
Okay, just support me. You can just support me as one of the admin.
Okay.
So you can just support me and then you send me a DM, okay? Okay, guys. I don't know if there's any other question. Do we have any other question or a comment or reaction? So we can call it. You can call it a day. Let me stop sharing. Stop. Sharing. Oops. Okay, guys, since there's no question, it's been a pleasure having you. I like the questions, the interaction, and anyone feel free to reach to me on the general platform. Just check my name there, and then you just send me a DM. You can just send me a DM, and then let's connect. You have any question, any worry, just feel free, guys. So it's been a pleasure having you, and let's keep in touch. Check out your emails or check out on the platform. There are other amazing sessions that will be coming up. We are also going to have next. We are going to have the podcast session, right? And on the podcast session, what happens is that we bring in industry experts, be it people who are working in different companies, also recruiters, leaders who come and talk to us, right? Share their experience with us so that we all learn and get inspired. So hopefully, just we're going to have that in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So just be on the lookout on our social media platforms and be ready to register. And we hope to see you next time. So guys, bye-bye for now.
Thank you, sir.
Sure, Derek. Bye.
Okay,
Bye, guys.
thank you very much for the session.
Sure, guys. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.